Hello everybody, Mr. B here out in the field with our third installment of Mr. B's Nature Notes. So it's such a beautiful day out that I walked across the street from where I live, and I am in a place called Coxhall Creek, or otherwise known as Ponder Lodge here. It was an old golf course that was then just allowed for nature to retake it. So probably sitting at a water hazard here from the old golf course, but there are many turtles across this little pond on the other side. I'm not sure if you can see them. I'll try to point some out. There's probably one right there. That's the largest turtle that I'm seeing. But there's probably 15 or so of them on these little logs. They're sunning themselves today because it's so nice, which was contrast to yesterday's rainy weather. I took a video on my phone that I'm going to show you right now so that you can get a nice view of these turtles. So take a look. What's really cool about observing these turtles today as I was sitting here on the bank of this little pond is that they're doing the same thing that I am. I'm sitting here soaking up some of this nice sun, getting warm after yesterday it was rather cold and rainy. So this is the perfect weather to just sit out here and observe these turtles. They're reptiles, so they're cold-blooded and they're absorbing the sun just like I am. It's actually interesting. They're kind of stacking on themselves like a Dr. Seuss story, Yertle the Turtle. And I'm wondering if that is like a little heat rock for them when one of them absorbs the sun with their black, dark shell. If the next one that sits on top of that one is getting some heat from it. It's an interesting observation, I think. I'll have to do some research. So when people start to draw turtles, everybody likes to, draw just like a circle for their shell, like they're looking at it from above. But from where I'm sitting, my perspective, we're looking at the side of the turtle. So what I'm going to do is draw a little hill, a bank that it's sitting on. And the one that I'm going to draw, I don't know if you can see it, it's this tiny little speck right here. So there's our nice bank, just a little ledge. And so the side of the shell has this little ridge to it. Okay? It's like a semicircle, a half circle, just like that. Okay? And what I'm seeing is this little ridge around the side of it, kind of like a hat's brim. Like if I had a top hat or a different type of cap on, it has this little ridge just like this. So I'm going to draw that next. And it kind of comes out around the edge and goes kind of like this. It does look like, I guess, what are they? These old-fashioned hats, like a pork pie hat or something like that. So it's got this little ridge on it. So I'm going to draw that. Then I see its arms, and from where I'm sitting, I can't really see all of the intricate little parts of its claws and its feet, but I do know that from where I'm sitting next to this water that this is an aquatic turtle, so it must have some special little webbing in between its claws. I can see the angle of the arm. So I'm going to draw that for you, and you can draw it in your notebook too. The arm kind of comes out, and it's bracing itself on that edge over there. Okay, so I'm going to draw just a little arm like that, and then I'm going to add the little hand, the claws there. Okay, and again, this is a rough sketch. I'm not worried about it being, so entirely correct because I can't really see the turtle that close, but I imagine that it has claws just like that. And then I'm going to give it sharp little nails on those claws. So just a tiny little mark like that. All right. Now we're going to draw its head. I see its head sitting up like this, listening. I had to sneak up very quietly to this edge over here just to get close enough to see it. So it's got a circular looking head like that. Okay. I'm just going to draw a circle right there on the edge of the shell. And then it has a nice long neck, which sometimes when I'm at the edge of the water, I can see just the heads of turtles up above the water because they still need to breathe air. So even though they live near and sometimes they're under the water, they still need to come up to the surface to breathe. So he's got that nice long neck. So I'm going to draw that neck attached to the head coming out of the bottom of the shell, just like that. And then I see the other arm on the other side bracing up against the edge. So I'm going to draw that arm just the same way that I drew the other one. I'm going to give that one some little claws, but again, they're hidden behind this like vegetation over there, so I can't really see it, and you don't have to go too crazy drawing that. All right. I can see the top of the shell. We call that the carapace of the turtle. So I'm going to draw the pattern. Again, if you're following along from the other classes, I showed you the pine cone and how the pine cone has patterns. We can do the pattern on the top of the turtle shell, which, again, I can only see a very faint part of it, but I'm going to draw what I can see. Okay, so I see up at the top, there's kind of these like large circular, they probably have an angle like a hexagon or something like that, but I'm just going to draw those at the top of the shell. Okay. And then I see these lines coming down to that little brim, the edge of the shell. So I'm just going to draw those coming from the top down to the edge of the shell. Just like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is add the edge of the shell, just like that. I can give my turtle a little eye to see, and I'm going to darken the outer edge. I'm using a darker pencil than yesterday. I just quickly grabbed any pencil. This one is a 4B, so it's a little darker, so it's going to be harder for me to erase some of the lines, but that's okay. It'll still erase. We got to give them those back legs, even though I don't really see them. So I'm just going to draw like a little bump there to signify that leg. That is, again, he's bracing himself on that ledge there. And I'm going to draw the edge of the water right here. We'll draw some, just like a little line, just like that to show it's on the edge of the water. And I'm going to draw that vegetation, which is just a bunch of sticks. And I can see there's like sticks sticking up. And then I see there's only like one or two of those. So I'm going to draw those up just like that. And I'm going to draw the rest just in a big clump on the bottom. And you can kind of have artistic license here. Just make a big clump that looks like just that. Okay. So I'm happy with this little turtle. I can, you know, continue to draw and sketch this area. There's other roots and things on the edge next to the turtle. I might sit here and listen to some of the birds and write a little bit about what was going on. Again, I'm going to put the date on my drawing just to say, like, this was a different day than yesterday. It was very cold and rainy. Today it's nice and sunny. So I might be able to see different things outside than what I observed yesterday. So I've been sitting here for a few more minutes and I just added some more detail to my little nature sketch. I showed some ripples in the water because turtles are falling off of the other logs back into the water. They're climbing back onto things. So the water, even though it's nice and still has some ripples and some movement along it. I drew um, some just some logs that I see, some dead vegetation, some dead branches that are just on the edge. And I wanted to show you that there is a live evergreen over there. So I just drew um, this tree shape, just this little like line up here with some branches coming off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just by adding like some little scribbles, like taking your pencil and scribbling near those branches changes the way that it looks. It doesn't look like that, kind of dead tree anymore. It just has some little scribbles on it. And now it looks like a live tree on the bank. So again, thank you for joining me here on the edge of this little pond at Coxhaw Creek in Cape May. If you want to look up some of these animals that I'm seeing, I would suggest you can go online and look for, just type in Cape May Wildlife, and there's a great website that has all of the um, plants and animals that we would see in this area. So if you go to that website, Cape May Wildlife, I think it's .com, but if you just Google search Cape May Wildlife, you will find what I'm talking about, and look for the red-bellied turtle. That's the large one that we're seeing and the one that we sketched. But there are lots of other little painted turtles all over. They're really cute. So I might just stay here and sketch a little more and add some of those other turtles in here and write down what I'm seeing. So send me your sketches. Let me know if you have any cool turtle facts that you looked up to add into your notebook. And I'm looking forward to sketching with you another day. Until then, bye from Mr. B.